Yeah, some of these are customer saws, some of them are my saws, our saws. We do a little bit of logging. We have, I'm kind of in the shade, but we have fun with these saws. And so I've worked with farmertec for, well, quite a few years. Clear back in like 2007. I was looking at my emails. 2007 was like some of the first conversations with those guys. And I went over to China in 2008. Met the owners of the company at the time, what they wanted to do, and super nice people. One thing you need to understand about, okay, let's just say here's one right here. This particular saw is one that they make. This is a farmertec saw. Now, farmertec, it's hard to explain. So they're a trading company, is what they are, which means they don't manufacture all these parts in one place. They get this from somebody, they get the air filters from somebody, they get the top piece from somebody, the recoil from somebody, the bar, the brake, everything comes from different people in China. And the owner, saw a need for this, especially in Russia, he said. A lot of those, clone or Chinese knockoff, whatever you want to call it, go all over the world. When I first got involved, I was really impressed with the pricing. I could not believe it. Now, granted, a lot of these are OEM Stihl saws here I'm looking at, but so when they started doing pricing, this complete saw. So you could get it assembled. They do have a little factory there, and they will assemble saws. They will assemble all the parts from different distributors or different suppliers right there in-house. And so I could buy complete power heads, just kind of like this. And at the time, the price was, if you bought more than 100 power heads of the 660, they were $100 a piece. And so I was thinking at the time, I'm like, man, $100, if I cut a cord of wood and sell it here in Utah, cut and split, dried, it sells for about $200 a cord. So even if I do one cord of wood, it pays for the saw itself, so I did that. I bought a whole container load. I bought a whole container full of farmertec chainsaws. I was probably one of the early ones to the game that, sold a lot of them. One thing I was always tried to be honest with my customers. This saw is made in China. It is, your Harbor Freight saw. Whether, if you're a commercial guy, if you're logging for a living, then by all means go out and, get the real thing. Get a real Stihl, get a real Husqvarna if you want. So knowing that going forward, they have proven to be pretty good. Now, granted, I have a warehouse, half of a warehouse behind me that's full of farmertec parts. We sell a lot of parts. We sell a lot of these saws. So at the time was you buy these for $100 a piece. You bring them over here and sell them for $300, $400, or $500 a piece. Whatever you can get. Now I do a lot with them on making the parts better. I'm sure there's lots of YouTube videos out there that this is a weak spot. This brake handle. You leave it in the sun very often. You leave the saw in the back of your truck. You go to grab this, it breaks right off. The tensioner, the gas tanks used to be horrible at first. The carburetor factory was horrible. Went through a couple. They've had some ups and downs. And now this video is not sponsored by them by any means at all. I'm just doing this on my own to kind of let people know when I sell a farmertec part online, people get mad. Oh, it's yes, I guess farmertec is the trading agent. They are the company putting it all together, but they're not the OEM manufacturer of the parts. If they need something special, or if we need something special, say I want something for this old, the old Husky, the old 2100, 2101 that nobody makes, I can reach out to them and say, hey, let's see what we can do. For example, what's this one? Okay, 440, ms440. So far, aftermarket recoil. Sorry, it's hard to see with shade. Anyway, so when I say clone or copy, this is 100% like a ms660. Every single part on here is interchangeable, from the handle to the cover to the air filter to the muffler to the you name it. And this one we've you know, somebody comes to me and needs to borrow a chainsaw, I have no doubt I send them with something like this. I'd rather send them an aftermarket one than an OEM one. But these are some of the ones they offer. I guess I can just, so many parts. It's incredible. I still have some of these old 660s that we got long ago, still kicking around. Parts 261, 250, 180. It's crazy how many of these we've sold or given away. Here you go. farmertec MS180. I believe this saw is $35. You buy them in bulk, this is a $35 saw. Now I don't know what it is from Stihl, 150, 175. But heck, for if you're cutting down one tree, your front yard, spend the, I don't know what people, I don't even know what they sell these for. I'm sorry. I'm used to, now I just sell parts. I don't sell complete units. It's well worth it. If you're only cutting down a couple trees, you're not a big time, you're not big time into it. The parts are great. A lot of aftermarket parts that are no longer made anymore for these things. I believe that's a 250, and we've taken parts off this to fix other 250s. See, OEM bar and chain fits, which I definitely recommend. I do not like their bars and chains. Depends on who you talk to, but for my hardcore loggers around here who do this for a living, I try to keep them away from farmertec parts. If you are just a weekend guy, or you're cutting wood for yourself, or you're on a budget, that's totally fine. So many just parts ones. Anybody need parts, feel free to holler at us. We will definitely. See, at the time they made 440s, 044, 046, 066, all these different saws, and so I'd buy them in bulk. And then I could either sell parts off them. We have a little service and repair on chainsaws, so we take care of a lot of customers that way. And I let them know, hey, you're getting aftermarket parts. This is the aftermarket price. This is the OEM price. And I support my local dealers. My local Stihl and Husqvarna dealer know me well. We work a lot. We work together. I help them. They help me. I buy a lot of stuff from them. Look, when they first, that's how they came. The first farmertec saws. Look at that. It's almost, a 100% copy of a Stihl box, except it doesn't say Stihl right there in the orange. Interesting what they've done. Now the 372 is the same way. You can buy them in bulk, super cheap, great. I've had excellent luck with these. There are a couple cheap parts, choke lever, on-off switch, brake handle again. Look at that one starting to melt. This recoils. Now, one way that you can tell, it's almost to the point where farmertec saws are flooding the market. I get on eBay, they say, hey, yeah, this saw's OEM. Well, they think it's OEM. One thing about Stihl, almost every part on a Stihl chainsaw has the Stihl logo and a Stihl OEM part number. Look at this. Okay, so these two saws here are aftermarket, or Chinese, farmertec, whatever you want to call them. Let's look right here. So Husqvarna is spelt wrong, number one. Lin Yu. A normal Husqvarna says made in Sweden. Some of them even say the year that they were made, which is nice. I really like it when they say that, and I can identify it pretty quick. Now, when you come to a Stihl, let's just take this, this 500i, for example. Let's look at this. Every part in here, I don't know if you can see it, but right inside there, part number. Air filter, part number. And the stamp Stihl right on it everywhere. Every little part on this will have the handle, the brake. It's going to say Stihl. So to the people out there that are trying to counterfeit, I mean, just be honest. Let your customers know that what they're buying. Don't try to deceive it as a Stihl when it's not. Now I need to do more videos on comparisons. I get these requests all the time. It's just finding time around here on the farm is crazy. On farmertec versus OEM Stihl. Say you take them right out of the box. We take an OEM Stihl and an OEM farmertec right out of the box, brand new, put gas in them, you know, gas and oil, fuel them up, go to the hills, and we cut. Now, I can definitely tell what is OEM and what is farmertec. I'm not saying you'll be able to. I guess it depends on how much chainsaw experience you have. But essentially, you get what you pay for. Let's say that. You get what you pay for. And your aftermarket ones, I mean, a lot of them, when they burn up or when they smoke a cylinder or piston, I tell my, you know what, it's almost cheaper just to buy a whole nother one than it is to rebuild it. So there's options for you. One thing nice about these, when they do burn up, you put a big bore kit on it, soup it up a little bit, give it some compression, and make it really run. It's surprising. We've got quite a few modified saws that I've been surprised how well they've held together. But then again, they're 100% interchangeable. I could get a farmertec hulzforma parts to this Stihl 044, change everything, clear down to the crankshaft, the crank bearings, the crank seals, which those internal parts I would recommend using OEM Stihl if you can afford it. But yeah, to the 180, the 250, the 361, the 381, the 380, the 260. We could go on and on about the models that has been copied and duplicated. Oh, I have some of you guys requesting the difference between the 365 Husqvarna and the 372. The easiest way to tell is the air filter. On a 372, the air filter comes out, up, and back down. On a 365, it comes up and straight back. Okay, there's no height. Let's see, right down here. So these are 372 XP copies, imitations, but they do have a big air filter kit that you can throw on there if you want. So 100% like an OEM 372 XP. Anyway, any questions? I hope this helps answer some of the people go off, or if you get mad and you go off on farmertec, just realize they're a trading company. They don't manufacture stuff themselves. They buy it all from other people. So there is a lot of people involved. They used, well, with COVID now, they haven't. I'll have to look and see when the trade shows are. They usually come over and go to quite a few of the trade shows to help promote the product and stuff. They usually, when I was there last, 2 years ago, and container loads of these come into the States, going to Russia, all over the world. It's crazy that they've kind of stolen Stihl's name. I'm a big Stihl fan, as you can tell, but farmertec is out there to help rebuild and replace and parts, at least, and just know what you're getting, you know, the price you pay. Anyway, we'll do some more videos, and we'll run some of these saws and get some of my helpers out here, and we can, these are just ones that were easy to grab. So anyway, guys, hopefully this is helpful about farmertec hulzforma information. Thanks for watching. See you next time.